promoter, Mr. Bob Arum, who happens to be sitting to my left. We are coming to you live from the brand new Virgin Hotel in Las Vegas as they celebrate their grand opening today. Top Rank Boxing taking over the property for the next month. 3 incredible stacked cards the entire month of June. Bob, it's got to feel good. It's been almost a year to the date that we went into the bubble inside MGM Grand, and here we are now kicking off this brand new property, the Virgin Hotel Las Vegas, and we're out of the bubble and we're back to normal.
It's been a year. It's been a year when we did our first fight in Las Vegas in the bubble. We received a wonderful letter from Michael Force, the head of production for ESPN, congratulating us on these fights that we put on in the bubble and acknowledging that the top-ranked bubble, which we lived with for a year, was the forerunner of the other bubbles like the NBA that came later. So I'm really proud of our people at Top Rank who came up with the idea of the bubble and executed it, and of course the Nevada State Athletic Commission that worked with us with the safety protocols. Well, let me tell you, Mark, thank God it's over. Thank God it's over.
And we come out with a bang. It goes down Saturday, June 12th, this Saturday, beginning at 3:30 Pacific time on ESPN+. The first bell, 3:30 p.m., features undefeated prospects Xander Zayas, John Bauza, Jahai Tucker, Kasir Golston, Troy Isley, Brian Lua, and junior lightweight contender Tyler McCreary against Manuel Ray Roas. That is just the undercard beginning at 3:30 on ESPN+. And our co-feature, joining me now on stage, Jose Pedraza, Julian Rodriguez, 10 rounds in the junior welterweight division. That kicks off at 7 o'clock on the network ESPN. Gentlemen, welcome back to Vegas. It's got to feel good. We're fighting again, no bubble. Julian, start with you. How's camp? What's it feel like to be here?
It's a pleasure to be here once again. I'm grateful to have fought twice during the pandemic here, thanks to Bob Arum and Top Rank. It's just another fight for me. You know, it's a big step up. I had a tremendous camp. Everything went well, no injuries, all healthy, tremendous weight cut. I'm ready to go Saturday.
Perfect. Gardy's sitting off stage to help with translating for the former champ sitting right beside me. He's an undefeated fighter on the way up. You're a veteran in the sport. What can we expect Saturday night?
Él es un invicto peleador que viene subiendo, pero un veterano en el deporte, ex campeón. ¿Qué podemos esperar el sábado?
Sí, definitivamente Julián es un boxeador joven, con muy buena potencia, pero la veteranía la tengo yo, como dijiste, así que estamos bien preparados para lo que venga.
As you mentioned, Julian is a great fighter. He has a lot of power, young, good fighter. But as you mentioned, I have the experience and I'm very well prepared for Saturday.
That's a perfect answer because it's a great segue for what I want to ask you next. You've won titles at junior lightweight and lightweight. Now you're rising up in the ranks. What would joining the likes of Cotto, Trinidad, Benitez as Puerto Rican 3-weight champions mean to you?
Has ganado títulos en junior ligero, en ligero y ahora subes a 140. ¿Qué significaría para ti ganar títulos con Cotto, Benitez en su división?
Pero sí significaría mucho. Esta división de las 140 está bien interesante, así que todos los boxeadores estamos, como decimos nosotros en Puerto Rico, estamos pompeados, estamos bien animados. La misma oportunidad y la misma emoción que tengo yo la tienen todos los 40, así que es bien importante para mí para colocarme en el momento histórico de Puerto Rico.
It will mean a lot, you know, to join all the Puerto Rican greats that have been 3-time division champions. All the fighters on 140 right now have the same good opportunity. And we're, like we say in Puerto Rico, we're very pumped for this opportunity that is going to come up in the 140 division.
Excited for Saturday. Julian, coming back to you, you did camp here in Vegas and you had some interesting sparring partners. Tell us about camp here and your time in Vegas.
Right, I had a lot of great sparring partners throughout the camp. But when I'm in Vegas, I usually spar with your Dennis Ugas, Big 147. I train with Ismael Salas, all those Cuban Olympians over there, all southpaws, you know. I've had over hundreds of fights in my life. I've been fighting since I'm 7 years old, so I doubt he's gonna come out with a style that I haven't seen before. And if he does, I'll be ready for it.
You mentioned hundreds of fights, 230 maybe or more amateur fights.
221 and 9.
Yeah, you started boxing at 7 years old, 8 years now as a pro. How would you describe your boxing journey to this point?
You know, there was a few hiccups with the injury that I had a few years ago, but I believe I'm on that top tier level. You know, a lot of people that were in my class growing up, same age group, they're world champions already, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's where I belong, and that's what I'm gonna prove on Saturday.
What would a win over Sniper over here mean to you?
It's everything, you know, that's me knocking on the door. It's what I feel like I, you know, deserve and what I'm pushing to go and get.
Jose, you had 2 big wins at 140 pounds last year. What changed at the weight following the loss to Cepeda in your 140-pound debut? What's different?
¿Cuál es la diferencia de tu derrota con Cepeda? ¿Qué cambió luego de esa derrota?
Mira, bueno, obviamente nos enfocamos un poco más en lo que es el entrenamiento, incorporamos varios equipos de entrenamiento, así que vamos a ir bien preparados. O sea, en esta pelea, luego de la derrota con Cepeda, hicimos, como te dije, incorporamos varios entrenamientos y sé que nos va a surtir efecto, un mejor efecto, ¿verdad? Ya que pudimos adaptarnos más a esos cambios.
After the loss to Cepeda, you know, I focus a lot more on training and adding more training styles that I'm going to show on Saturday. Everything I've been working on.
Perfect. Gentlemen, with that, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to ask that you place your microphones on the chairs behind you and take a step over to the X for your first face-off of the week. We thought it was important that we discuss the fight with our co-main simply because this is such a stacked card. This is Jose Pedraza, Julian Rodriguez. 10 rounds for the in the junior welterweight division. 10 rounds. Jose Pedraza, Julian Rodriguez, 7 o'clock Pacific, ESPN.
Cara a cara.
Right here to the right. Right here, guys. Go ahead and face off, buddy.
Face up.
Hammer time, baby!
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Gentlemen, thank you for spending some time.
That's the way boxing has been, and Shakur Stevenson, a lot of experts in the business say that he would, in the coming years, will be the face of boxing. So we'll see how he does against a tremendous puncher from Africa, who he faces on Saturday. You know, every fight at this level is a tough fight. Nothing is a walk in the park.
And with that, we welcome our main event to the stage, Shakur Stevenson, Jeremiah Nakathila, for the vacant WBO Interim Junior Lightweight World Championship. ESPN, 7 o'clock Pacific. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Let's start over here. How does that feel to hear the Bob Father over here talk about you like that?
I think it feels real good knowing that Bob think that I'm the next future superstar of the sport, and I just got to live up to that.
Amazing. It's tougher to prepare for an opponent, obviously, when there's not a lot of tape. So how did you prepare for this fight? Because there's not a lot of footage on your opponent.
I just feel like when I'm at my best, it don't matter who the opponent is. It's been like that my whole career. Since I've been an amateur, you don't know who you're going to fight in the amateurs. You come up and you just got to fight people. So at the end of the day, when I'm at my best, nobody can beat me.
Jeremiah, welcome. Very excited. 21-1, 17 knockouts. What are you looking to show your fans Saturday night?
You know, first and foremost, I would just like to thank Top Rank for the opportunity. So for sure, I'm coming here for a big one. So I'm ready. You know, I never had bigger than how I prepared for this fight. And then come Saturday night, I'll show.
Do you feel you're being a little underestimated here?
Not really. So,
You feel good?
yeah.
You don't feel like all the attention's coming to this guy? You think you're being overlooked a little bit? Yeah, no big deal.
No, whoever underestimate me, you're gonna be surprised come Saturday night.
He said what? What'd you say?
He said he's ready to come for you Saturday night. What do you think?
I'm gonna beat the shit out of him.
I heard you had an interesting sparring session with Bud Crawford, the start of camp. What can you tell us about your time with him in the ring?
Sparring with Terrence is like, you sparring with one of the most competitive fighters in boxing. And I guess when I first got to camp, he was already in camp and he was getting ready for Pacquiao, which he thought he was going to end up fighting. And I came in and I came to watch him spar. I started talking shit to him like, he looks slow, champ. And he got mad at me and he's like, get in here, show me I'm slow. So then I went in to the car and grabbed all my stuff and we ended up sparring like 8-9 rounds. And it was some of the most competitive and best sparring that I had in so long. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Was he slow?
Nah, not at all. He speeded up when he came in with me.
When you geared up, it became real. That must have been an experience. Back home, you work as a police officer.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for your service. Talk about that. More difficult to be a professional fighter or more difficult to be a police officer?
Yeah, it's good, when you're a force member, sometimes it opens your mind sometimes, especially when it comes to what you go through, it strengthens your mind, when you're a enforcement. Yeah, so you go through, a lot of stuff in our lives, tough challenge, but it opens your mind more broader.
You've won 10 straight fights by knockout. Your last 10 fights you have won by knockout. How have you grown as a fighter? And what can we expect from you now that you've got these 10 knockouts under your belt and you're walking into what is probably the biggest fight of your career?
All I know is I can knock anybody in this 130 pound. No, I can destroy anybody in a 130 pound. So just come Saturday night, gonna see Shakur. How I'm going to destroy him.
I'm damn sure not losing to no cop. I swear to God. I promise you, I swear to God, I'm not losing to no cop.
Yeah, just come Saturday night. I'm gonna show this boy how he's done.
Might get arrested maybe after the fight for some shenanigans. No, you okay?
I never lose a 5-0.
Well, we hopefully have some police officers watching who will make sure that doesn't happen. Bob, what do you have to say about this main event?
Well, I want to tell everybody out here, because I've had tremendous experience, obviously, in boxing over my career. And the one thing I've learned is never underestimate an African fighter. Because even though it's a big continent and there's a lot of different countries, I remember when guys like the great Azuma Nelson, Ike Quartey, John the Beast Mugabe, when they came over, little known guys, and they gave everybody a run for their money, and a number of them became champions and gave the marquee guy a lot to handle. For example, I remember when I did Ike Quartey against Oscar De La Hoya, a lot of people thought at the end of that fight that Quartey had pulled it out. Oscar got the decision. But African fighters come with a lot of strength. And Jeremiah, I think, will epitomize that. Now, he's in with a very, very tough task, probably the best young fighter in the world in Shakur Stevenson. But he's going to give it a go, and I think it'll be a very, very exciting fight.
Talk about your journey coming to Las Vegas for this fight? Because I've heard various stories, different accounts of how you got here. But tell us how you actually ended up in Vegas and how long it took.
It was a bit long journey, you know, to come back, to reach Vegas, but, you know, I feel like I don't know, my mind I feel like I'm in Venus right now. So, it's been a long journey to reach Vegas, but I feel good, you know, I feel happy that we arrived safe here, and then we just continue with the little touch-up, you know, just to be on the weight, and we are good.
Well, we're excited for Saturday night. Shakur, one last one for you. Again, mentioning probably the greatest young fighter in the country, maybe on the planet. How does that help your mindset knowing that you have the greatest boxing promoter of all time in your corner like that?
I mean, like at the end of the day, I listen to it, but you can't get like too high, so I hear it, but you still gotta complete the task. And I try to stay like in between. I don't try to like listen to everything that I hear and then just go off that. I try to make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do too. So I put in a lot of good work this camp. My preparation was good, my weight good, and I'm ready to fight Saturday.
I love hearing that because I actually wrote down here, there's a lot of chatter in the world about the Herrings and the Valdezes, and I know that your name is in that discussion nonstop. How do you stay focused on right now, right here in this moment, knowing that probably those names are going to be in the ring with you sooner rather than later?
I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of upsets these past 2 years in boxing, from Anthony Joshua, when he lost to Ruiz. You watch Josh Warrington lose to the dude Lara. So we've seen a lot of upsets. You can't just go in there and sleep on this dude. This dude coming to fight at the end of the day. So I'm well prepared. I'm ready for Saturday, and I'm going to give him my all.
Well, I'm excited for Saturday. Gentlemen, I want to thank you. Bob, I want to thank you for sitting in as always. Gentlemen, leave your microphones right there on the stage. Hit those X's and let's do the first face-off of the weekend. Evan Korn, come on up here with that belt, because that's what it's all about. It's going down.